Hey guys! I decided to change things up a bit and vlog in front of my bookshelf. Good idea? Bad idea? Let me know what you think in the comments. So I haven't done a t-shirt tutorial in a while, so today I'm going to show you how to do a no-sew waistband on a t-shirt. Now bear in mind your t-shirt's going to have to be pretty wide and pretty long, so get one at least 2 sizes bigger than you normally wear. Now I've done some experiments on the best way to do this. These are just the long sleeves from that video I did turning the shirt I got from the opera into a mini dress. Link in the doobly-doo if you're interested. And here is just one time around, which looks very nice, but you know, it doesn't have as much of an impact as the double braid. And you can see the seam kind of gets folded over. Well, here's the actual seam. Gets kind of brought over to one side. And I went twice around. See, you get this lovely double braid effect, and it's kind of rounded and beautiful, but the seams really get pulled over. So your whole shirt's just going to end up shifted to one side, and you'll get diagonal lines all across your stomach, which is not cool. So my solution to that was one braid around, and then the first time you go, say, counterclockwise, and then the next time you go clockwise during the second braid. So that way your seams lie flat. They just get pleated over. Pretty cool. So the way we're going to do this braided waistband is similar to this shirt that I did before. I cut some vents out in the back and wove them. There's a really good video on this technique by It's Blitz, and I'm going to link that in the doobly-doo as well. So for this shirt I did the double braid as well, and it's more to have this kind of crochet pattern all down the back, but when it lays flat just on its own, it has this lovely braided effect. So I figured if we make the vents across the width of the shirt going vertically, so by folding the shirt in half, then they will always lay flat and not really get stretched out. I did this one this afternoon and it turned out pretty well, but I would have liked for this waistband to end at my natural waist, which is about, let's say, 3 inches lower than where I ended up. So what I ended up doing with this shirt was I folded it in half, and that ended up giving this kind of just an empire waist. It's more of a baby doll top this way, and it's not bad, but the sleeves there isn't enough room and there isn't quite the effect I would have wanted. So with this one I'm going to be putting the waist a bit lower, but just so you know, if you want to have more of a baby doll top, then you fold the shirt exactly in half. Right, so I forgot to mention before, but all you're going to need for this project is your giant shirt and a pair of scissors. So I've laid out the t-shirt and I measured it, and it measures 29 inches by 21 about across. Bear in mind when you are doing this, it is going to shrink to half the length of the cuts you make. So if you make 2-inch slits, it kind of brings both sides down and shrinks it to 1 inch or thereabouts. So I'm just going to get a measuring tape. The center is right here at 14.5, and we want to go to 17.5, which is right there. So we'll just pick up the shirt, there, and lay it down. You may have to fiddle with it for a bit. It's important to make sure the sleeves are even, which I think they are, but most importantly, and it hasn't been done right now, you have to make sure that both layers of the shirt are as close together and as well folded as possible, because when you make the cuts, if one is higher than the other, then the cuts are going to end up smaller on the back. Alright, so everything's folded nicely now. These 2 layers are about as close as they're going to get. I remember that things started to shift a bit when I was last doing the cutting, so I had an idea. Get some heavy books and lay them down. I'm going to change camera angles and then you can get a better look at what I'm doing here. Okay, now you can see this better. I have the 2 seams laying flat here. You're going to want to be making the slits in the shirt about the size and well, about the width of your thumb. So you're going to have to cut the edge because it is a round thing, and they are going to open up to twice their size. Cut the seams just on the edge of where they stop, and then that's about the same width. About 1 inch. And on the other side. Okay, perfect. And now you're just going to continue all across the width of the shirt, and each one is going to be about the width of your thumb. we have the shirt with its placeholder waistband. Now what we're going to do is just go through and tug each of these, and it'll make it easier to work with. We're going to start with the shirt facing front side up, and we will start with the seam. We take the seam in our hands, and we take the strip that's below it and put it under and let it drop. Then we take the next one, put it under the one we just did, and then we let it drop. And we continue all the way around. If you want a clearer picture on how to do this, check out the It's Blitz video. She does it with a lot longer strips, so it's a lot easier to see. Alright, so now I've reached the last link, I guess, in our chain. It's gone all the way around once. So now we need to pull this as tight as we possibly can. Find our scissors. And we're going to tie it off by cutting it in half. And you have your two bits here. And we're aiming for this first one right here. We're going to cut each of these in half again, down the middle, and tie them to either side. So I've cut the second one down the middle, tied the first one over here to one side, and now we're just going to do a double knot on the corresponding side for the second half of our loop. We're doing it this way because it leaves room for more braiding, because now we're going to go the other way. Just start right there. You can even do this with a crochet hook if you want. It gets pretty tight. Okay, now we're approaching the end, so just a few last links. We are going to take this one, pull it through, pull it as tight as we can, and this is the easiest way to tie it off. In your second round, you just cut it in half and go on the next link and tie a double knot. Now I will eventually trim all these, but first I'm just gonna sew through with a needle and thread. But other than that, it's done. So this is what it looks like in the end. You can wear it either tucked down, or you can even pull this higher. There's a lot more freedom to move. It's good. Well, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. You can even do a video response if you decide to make your own. I'd love to see that. I hope you enjoyed this, and bye-bye!